Okay, hello guys, we're back to our channel and we're going to analyze, and I'm going to give a brief summary for the chapter 2. So without further ado, let's start. And our chapter 2 is all about the OS or the OSI model of the Cisco. Then we have the uh, also we have the iOS or the CLI, then the primary keys. And for our Cisco IOS, the Cisco IOS to enable the data communication between network, and it's also in addition to routing and switching. Cisco IOS offers dozens of additional services that in administrator you can use to improve the performance and security of the network traffic. Such services include encryption, authentication, firewall, then capabilities, policy enforcement, deep packet inspection, and also quality of service, intelligent routing, and proxy capability in Cisco's integrated service routers. Then we have the we call variants of operating system of the Cisco. And for our not and for the CLI or Cisco IOS CLI command line interface, most Cisco devices, including the routers and switches, use a CLI command or the command line interface to configure the network devices. Then the CLI is an interface also based on text. You rather type in configuration commands and use to show the router, switch, and firewalls, but the majority of the work is done on the CLI. Then access to iOS CLI, we have three ways in order to access the or you're going to access the CLI. So we have the console or the uh, cable. Then also we have the telnet as well as SHS, well known as for wireless. Then the consoles is physical port on the switches that allows access the CLI. We typically use this the first time we configure the switch. Telnet and SSH are both options for remote access. As I said that it is wireless connected. Then for another, then the console, and then we have our what we call the user and privilege exec mode. As far as I know, once the switch has booted and we have pressed the enter key, we end up in what we call the user mode or user exec mode. In this mode, we have permission to use some simple components, but we are restricted to configure anything or use some more advanced commands. And right now, the command line will show this just like switch, then the greater than symbol. The greater than symbol tells us we are currently in user mode. To get full access to the switch, we have to enter privilege mode, also enable mode. Here is now to do this, we have to first type switch from the switch we have to type enable. Then from typing enable, as you noticed, from the greater than symbol, it replaced by the hash symbol that indicates it was a privilege exec mode. Then this we have the disable commands. um, these commands let you to jump back to user mode. Then we have the erasing the switch configuration. Just use erase startup dash config. Then we have also from our VLAN we have delete flash. Then from showing commands we have show commands. Then as far as I remember, the show version from the show MAC address dynamic, from also running config, using their interface, showing their interface with the switches, switch config, also the replacing the host name, from replacing the host name or making its password. Then continue of configuration, and we also have the encryption of password in order to make security for our devices and intermediary devices. Then we have the banner message. To create a banner message of the day, network device use banner MOTD hash, and the hash sign is indicates that it is global config command, and determining a character each by any character as long as does not occur in the message for the reason is symbol such as the hash. So in order to distinguish, and also for you to be aware that there's a difference with regards with the symbols used in the configuration. We have the greater than command symbols or the hash symbols. So then also we have the command or the syntax checker that limits to access the switch. Or so the config commands I would normally use are not being accepted. I need assistance setting up the wireless other router, and is the tool where I can check old version of iOS against a new version of iOS to see if the commands have been changed or replaced. uh, it makes or it maintains a big factor in order to maintain the cleanliness and uniqueness in the field of Cisco, or the field of configuration of Cisco. So for our IP address, we have the port address translation. From port address translation, or PAT is an extension of called network address translation, or NAT, that permits multiple devices on LAN to map a single public IP address to conserve IP addresses. When a computer logs on the internet, this device assigns the client a port number that is appended to the internal IP addresses, giving the computer a unique IP address. If another computer logs on the internet, this device assigns in the same public IP address but different port number. Although both computers are sharing the same public IP address, this device knows which computer to send its packets, because the device uses the what we call port numbers to assign the packets the unique internal IP address of the computers as well as the MAC address.